Do you want to learn how to quickly differentiate between credible, incredible, and plain false information? Stick around to find out. Have you heard about Bill Gates' sponsored tracking chip implanted in you when you get vaccinated against coronavirus? Well, yeah, so have I. But more importantly, I don't think this is what we should be really concerned about. Instead, we should look at the root cause of the problem, 5G networks, something that hopefully would not ban this video from YouTube. But in all seriousness, we have a role to play in spreading accurate information and making sure we get it from credible sources. Sounds easy, right? Well, not so much. As a PhD scientist, I'm aware how much information is out there and the dangers of misunderstanding where it comes from and how to uncover the truth. In the work that I've been doing for the last 4 years, if you blindly trust somebody's data without thoroughly vetting it first, you waste time, money, and occasionally an opportunity to go to a bar and vent about your failures with your mates. You could easily say, truth is a matter of perspective. And you'll be right, because it's your perspective. But closer to the point, when I talk about the truth, I mean something that is objective, quantifiable, and verifiable by multiple sources. This has been a part of my scientific training and something I apply every day when I'm reading a news report or watching a YouTube video. So let's start with objective. Objective is probably the most subjective term I could have picked to start the list. But bear with me on this. By objective, I mean information that does not have an agenda. This is very tricky to discern. Hence, we have things like fake news, alternative facts, and so on, where often hidden agenda is implied to take place. How can we find out if there is an agenda in a piece of news that you read? Simple. Always think that there is one, even if it's not obvious. Let me rephrase that. You need to be convinced that what you're reading, watching, or listening does it in a dispassionate, argumentative, and reasonable way. So, if you hear something like, "I think we should pay attention to this guy," red flag. Instead, look for something like, "The reason to pay attention to this guy is because of the facts he provided and because he has a proven and verifiable track record of reporting." Secondly, when we speak of the truth in the news, we should be on the lookout for data. As a scientist, I believe in data. No, scratch that. I believe in more data. Yes, the more data, the better. But it's not all. I can randomly generate an Excel spreadsheet with big data, but unless I show how this data was generated, where it comes from, and can cross-reference it with reliable data from elsewhere, my data is subjective and not trustworthy. Or in a scientific jargon, not statistically significant. How do we apply this in real life? Simple. Find another source of news that reports on a subject matter and look for data. Wait, that's it? Yes. No, don't get comfortable when you find another source that supports your belief. That's my third point, verification from multiple sources. It's like muting this one Facebook friend who's been very active lately, and now you have only Democrats or Republicans that you can peacefully follow and exist in this bubble. Point is, find another source, and then another 5, or as many as you can to make sure that you see the same information and data across the board. Look for where the data comes from. If it's the one source on the ground in the trenches, just be mindful that the truth is a matter of perspective, and other points of view may be possible. Now, what if you find multiple conflicting reports? Best example I can think of from a real life is, well, I think any presidential debate from at least last 2 campaigns would suffice, since these are the ones that I cared to watch. Bear with me here. If you look at what these guys were saying to each other, you would notice that they are talking about the same issue, but with vastly different points of view, supporting themselves with their own data and essentially trying to prove that the other person is lying. Guess what? If they can't agree on something, both are probably lying. I mean, come on. There shouldn't be any question about it, right? I mean, I think so at least. Did you catch that? I just tried to convince you of something. Well, not really, merely illustrating what I thought when I watched the debates. But I only had access to 2 data points without any additional sources of information and coming from people whose track record may and may not be all that excellent, which is a matter of perspective, just like the truth is. If you like this video, and especially if you stuck around until the end, please smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Also, if you enjoyed this type of video, let me know down in the comments and share it with other people. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.